First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello and welcome back to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for joining us. We are live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, and we do this every weekday on our different platforms from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at least, if not more than that. And we cover a wide range of topics. Right now, we're talking about something coming up in the city of Vancouver, Washington this weekend, and that is the second annual Pollinator Festival. So what is a Pollinator Festival? In case you don't know, well, that's what we're going to be talking about in part here today, and the importance of, well, bees and other pollinators. We've got Kyle Roseland from the Vancouver Bee Project joining us. And Kyle, thanks for being here with us today. I really appreciate it. And I think to start off for everybody, would you mind letting us know what the Vancouver Bee Project is?
Sure, thanks, Greg. Vancouver Bee Project is a Clark County-based nonprofit that does pollinator education, advocacy, and habitat creation. We've been around for about 4 years, and we've really been excited to bring back the Pollinator Festival. There was a festival in Vancouver in 2023 put on by Clark Public Utilities. They're a great partner of ours, and they weren't able to put on a festival in 2024, so our organization took the charge to make that happen this year.
Nice. Well, going back to the first part there, talking about Vancouver Bee Project, you mentioned working, it's a nonprofit. Can you tell us a little bit more about what some of those works are that you do, and maybe even a description of pollinators for anybody who may need that?
Sure. So we're called the Bee Project. We have an interest in all types of pollinators, though. So, many different insects are pollinators, from moths to butterflies to even beetles and flies, wasps, and especially bees. Bees are really proficient pollinators, and they have a lot of things against them these days. It's tough to be a bee, especially with all of the things that human beings do as far as ground disturbance and contamination and poor air quality and climate change and all of these things. So pollinators are really in trouble, and we really like to focus on straightforward, easy things that folks can do in their own yard or business to make things better for pollinators. So we really encourage that folks plant native pollinator plants, because native bees especially prefer native pollinator plants, and a lot of those bees are really specific as far as what types of flowers that they're after. So if you don't have native pollinator plants, you won't have a lot of these native bees, and they're really the best pollinators that are out there. So try and encourage folks to do that. We offer workshops on mason bees and meadowscaping. We also do a lot of outreach around the community to teach people about various aspects of things they can do in their yard, and a lot of awareness around native pollinators.
Yeah, things they can do. I like that, things that you can do at home to make that positive impact. I know you mentioned a couple of those, but could you maybe list out a few things that people can do at home just to help these native pollinators?
Absolutely. So one of the best things you can do is plant native plants, and that doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be small. If you don't have a yard, but maybe you have a patio, you can plant a single native plant in a pot on that patio, and that will go a long way to supporting our pollinators. You can also do things like advocate for your city to do those things for you in parks and public spaces. And so Vancouver has become a bee city in the last year. And a big part of that is the city takes on this charge to really add pollinator habitat around in different parks and public spaces. So, advocating for your support for these things, I think, is really important, and it's a good way to make things happen in your community.
And what are some of those benefits of, having a healthy pollinator population?
Yeah, what is it? Something like 1/3 of the bites of food that we eat. So 1 out of every 3 bites of food or drinks that we take comes from food that was there from a pollinator. And so our food system would really collapse if we didn't have pollinators around. So that's really, really critical. There's a lot of biodiversity, I think, arguments for having healthy pollinator habitats and pollinators around. Just generally more wildlife in general is really a positive thing. So, everything that you can do, it might feel small, but if everybody does one small thing, that can really add up over time, right? So even just that pot on your patio, or you going to city council and advocating for more pollinator plants in your parks, that can all coalesce and become a big thing.
Yeah, it all adds up together, and everybody kind of doing it at the same time, I would imagine, can make a big difference. Well, you mentioned a bee city. So Vancouver is becoming a bee city. Can you let everybody know what that designation actually means?
Sure. So Xerces Society for Invertebrate Conservation is a nonprofit based out of Portland. They're an international nonprofit. They cover folks all around the world. And they have this certification where cities can become a certified bee city. And that means that the city makes some efforts to really support pollinators by creating pollinator habitat and educating their community about the pollinators and things that they can do to support them. They also need to take into account pollinators when they update their city plans and practices. So Vancouver is going through a comprehensive plan update right now, and part of that is to talk about things that they can do to support pollinators. So there's a lot of different things that cities can do to help, but those are the types of things that the Bee City initiative does. It's also really a focus on an integrated pest management plan, which is the plan that the city uses when they apply pesticides and herbicides in public spaces, and really thinking of ways that they can apply those chemicals in mindful ways, or maybe cutting back or thinking of other methods that might be just as beneficial to use without using pesticides and herbicides.
Gotcha. Yeah. So really thinking of it more holistically as far as a lot of those different things that they're doing, and making sure that they're not damaging, or at least not damaging, but hopefully encouraging pollinators. Well, congratulations to the City of Vancouver for that designation. And for this, let's go on to this Pollinator Festival. So tell me about, you had this first one, you're coming back for the second one. What can people expect at a Pollinator Festival?
Yeah, thanks. It's going to be a wild day. We have expert speakers, we have garden tours, we have kids activities, we have a huge vendor fair. So there will be a lot of different activities that folks can go and do. I would encourage folks to go to the website for the festival, pollinatorfestival.org, and kind of plan out your trip. We have different activities happening in different places at different times. So check out the schedule there in the map. We'll have some great expert speakers. We're going to have Andoni Melithopoulos. He's an OSU Extension individual who works on pollinator health in Oregon, and he'll be talking about some of the work that has been happening around the native bee atlases that are happening in Oregon and Washington. So there's this whole effort to go out there and map where different bees exist and on what flowers they're found on, and the Bee Atlas is doing that in Oregon and Washington right now. So Andoni will talk about that. We're going to have just a wonderful local author, Josephine Wollington, come and talk. She has a book called, it's escaping me right now. But it's a great book. It's all about local flora and fauna. It's called Where We Call Home. And she'll be a speaker at the festival, and she'll be available for book signings after that. We have a bookseller at the festival. It's Vintage Books out of Vancouver, and they will be there to help get folks get books signed from the authors that day. We'll also have Dr. Robert Michael Pyle, and he is a prolific author. I believe he has over 30 books, and he's a lepidopterist. He's an expert on butterflies and moths. He also helped found the Xerces Society for Invertebrate Conservation. That's the same organization that does the Bee City USA designation. So really prolific author. He'll be our keynote speaker talking about butterflies and kind of human interactions and things that are maybe kind of detrimental to pollinators. So really timely topic there. We also have all these great garden tours that we'll be offering. So Clark College is right across the street from the festival site. They are a bee campus, which is a similar certification, but it's something that schools can get, where they have pollinator habitat throughout their campus. And so we'll be featuring their meadows that they have there. Clark Public Utilities is also nearby. They have a lovely pollinator garden as well, and so we'll be providing some tours there. Also at Vida Elementary, there will be tours to show folks the green schoolyard that's there and all the beautiful native plantings that are there as well. So really ways to go out and take a look at what other folks are doing in the area, and maybe get some inspiration on things that you could maybe take home and try yourself.
And when
lots of garden tours.
Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and speaking to that too, as far as taking something home with them, whether that's learning or maybe something physical, what would you like people to take away from coming to the Pollinator Festival when they head home?
Yeah, I really want people to be mindful of what's going on around them, and know that we share this world with other things and they have importance as well. And so really raising that awareness level and getting folks closer to nature, spending time in a meadow and really, taking pictures of bees and looking at flowers is really a special thing. And I think it really helps bring people closer to nature and gives them a sense of the fact that there are all these beautiful insects out there that are really important. And, we we wouldn't be alive without them. So I think it's really important to protect them as best we can.
And I like that idea too. This is in a city, and just realizing nature is right there. You're not separated from it. It can be all around you, and even like you mentioned earlier, putting a flower there on your porch if that's what you've got, and helping out with that side. Real quick, just for you, Kyle. What is it for you that drew you, or that draws you to bees and to pollinators and to things like the Vancouver Bee Project?
Yeah, it's a good question. I moved out here from the Midwest a long time ago and was raised on a farm, and we had honeybees, and we grew pickles for Vlasic pickles. And we used to cart our bees around on a trailer, and we weren't very nice to our bees, but I was a kid and I didn't really recognize that at the time. And then I moved to the Pacific Northwest and started having honeybees. And as soon as I did that, I was looking around my yard at the different flowers that I had, and I was like, wow, there's all these other bees in the world. What are these things? I don't know anything about them. And so that really opened my eyes to that and helped me kind of seek out the community of folks out there who are interested in these things. Vancouver Bee Project then came around early in the pandemic, and I was one of those people who kind of sat around for a while and said, why isn't anybody doing this? Why isn't anybody advocating for these things? They're really important. We need more education on them. There are poor decisions being made. People don't take into account insects and pollinators when they make some of the decisions that they make. Why is that the case? And so early on in the pandemic, I found myself with some spare time, and out of that kind of came the Vancouver Bee Project and the focus that we have today.
And and taking off obviously with this. Well, for people out there, let's let them know, just the times and the places to go there for the Pollinator Festival, but then also how to find out more about Vancouver Bee Project or get involved in some of these other things outside of the festival as well.
Absolutely. So the festival is this Saturday, June 21st, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Marshall Park in central Vancouver. We have sites, though, nearby at Vida Elementary, Clark Public Utilities, and Clark College. There's a lot of parking in the general area, but make sure and check out pollinatorfestival.org. There are schedules and maps and driving and parking and biking and all those instructions available on there. So take a look at those things, kind of plan your trip out. Speakers are going to be in one area, vendors are going to be in another area. So maybe take a look at the maps and think about where you want to be and what time, and give yourself time to get there. So
nice. Yeah. And for people who want to find out more about Vancouver Bee Project or get involved with some of the work that you do?
Yeah, check out our website. It's vancouverbeeproject.org. Happy to reach out and have a conversation.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kyle. Really appreciate you joining us here.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
And for everybody watching, we're going to take a break. This is Fox 12 Now. We're live streaming here, but we have plenty of things that we cover here every single day. We get to have longer form conversations like that, like we just did with Kyle about the Pollinator Festival and all kinds of stuff. You can check that all out on the Fox 12 Oregon app. So download that on whatever platform you're on, or go to kptv.com. It's up there as well, or even our YouTube channel. So wherever you're finding these, we appreciate it. Feel free to share those. And thanks so much for joining. I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.